Episode 11, Falling into Place. We kick up this episode right after the last one left off. Spider-Man is swinging through the city from rooftop to rooftop, trying to stop this chaos that has just been unleashed. The Hobgoblin has just tried to attack New York, and his men are everywhere. It feels like there's some sort of Goblin Nation gathering. Spider-Man may be unable to stop it. Fisk is still MIA. The location of the Goblin isn't anywhere. He rescues some people from an explosion before landing them to safety and swinging away in the next direction. Peter knows this is it. The war, it's finally beginning. Peter has a feeling that this is all entering his climax. It's like there's no rest for him. He's exhausted from all these nights of swinging around, getting people from rooftop to rooftop. His eyelids are bloodshot with all the amount of work he's been putting in. Peter slowly rubs his eyes, convincing himself he's got to do this. He's got to end things with Fisk, this goblin mystery, and settle things once and for all. As he lands on a rooftop to catch his breath, he overhears something going down on dispatch at the police scanners. Units are all requested heading to Oscorp Tower. Peter wonders, is something brewing at Oscorp again? He better go swing there. We cut to the NYPD, where Captain Stacy is surrounded by a web of events and work all over. Jean DeWolf, his second-in-command, asks him what's going on. Stacy says this isn't good. The whole city's going to hell and they've got to do something. DeWolf says she has her men ready at Oscorp. Stacy says to send backup, but he looks off about something. DeWolf asks him what's up, and Stacy says that he's been doing research on this Hobgoblin guy. He's been popping up all over the map, and the dealings confirm that he had an associate who had dealings with Wilson Fisk, meaning he might be connected to why Fisk is missing. Stacy thinks about calling Spider-Man, but sees him on the news, knowing he's got enough on his plate with everything. He better tell him later, and for now, focus on the case ahead. We cut to Oscorp Tower and it's a mess. Several police officers, led by DeWolf, are trying to get in the perimeter. The detail isn't working, as so many people are still trapped inside. Donald Mencken is inside watching the chaos. He isn't sure what to do. Did he bring this on himself? On his company? Mercenaries working for the Hobgoblin in pumpkin masks come out, telling Mencken to put his hands up if he wants to live. We see the look in Mencken's eyes as he's face down with the mercenaries pointing a gun to his head. He's feeling powerless, as if there's nothing he can do to escape this fate in this moment. He watches his life flash before his eyes when suddenly Spider-Man swings in, knocking the bullet out of the gun's hand and helping overpower them. DeWolf looks at him annoyed, saying that Captain Stacy trusts him, but she still thinks he's a vigilante and should be brought into justice. Spider-Man sighs and swings away. Mencken is taken into protective custody, as the police don't think it's safe to have him out in the open anymore. Spider-Man is inclined to agree, but before he can ask Mencken some questions of his own, he sees a figure perched. It looks like the Green Goblin. We cut back to Captain Stacy running his own investigation. He drives the car around to an abandoned building. He opens the door, demanding that whoever it is comes up with their hands up. He sees a bunch of old Oscorp papers and gasps. We don't know how or why, but Captain Stacy, for little to no reason, just discovered the true identity of the Hobgoblin and isn't sure what he'll do with this information. We then cut back over to Peter as he swings to rooftop, trailing the Goblin. But the Green Goblin then goes into life, throwing pumpkin bomb after pumpkin bomb at him. He tells Spider-Man that he's not here to fight. There are bigger forces at work. Spider-Man asks him who he is. The Goblin says he can't tell him that. All Spider-Man needs to know is that they aren't the bigger priority. There are other things happening than just the two of them. And if they work together, they can end this war. Spider-Man is confused, left with a moral dilemma, Peter. He would never trust the Goblin. He doesn't know if it's Norman, or what if the Goblin's Harry. He's been asking that question, but he doesn't think it would be Harry. However, the Goblin is now offering him a proposition to work with him, to stop the villains, to stop the Hobgoblin and Fisk, who are still out there. Before Peter can answer, the Goblin flies away on his glider. And now, Peter is left with a decision that he doesn't know what to do about. Peter later takes off his mask, getting down to a building. He doesn't know what to do. This moral dilemma has been questioning him for a while now. What should he do now? Should he follow the goblin's advice? Do this? Go into battle and win? Or will he lose? This choice plaguing Peter is starting to mess with his judgment. He can't let that happen. Ever since the whole incident in Season 2, he's been trying to be a better Spider-Man when he really should be saving the city. Peter will realize this and put his mask back on. He knows the people need him. Gwen, MJ, Flash, May, even Harry, wherever he is. He puts his mask back on and dives into action as Spider-Man, trying to find a place when he gets a message from Captain Stacy telling him to meet him somewhere as he has some information for Spider-Man. Spider-Man swings to the warehouse before kicking the door open when suddenly a cackling grin is heard behind him as none other than the Hobgoblin flies out, laughing maniacally as he flies on his glide. After being hit with pumpkin bomb after pumpkin bomb, the Hobgoblin proves himself to be a formidable threat, nothing like Spider-Man's ever faced before. Coming out with an arsenal of weapons and pumpkin tech, Spider-Man is pinned to the floor. The Hobgoblin says that he'll teach him not to interfere in things he doesn't understand. Before Peter can even use his spider sense to dodge another pumpkin bomb, Captain Stacy reaches for his gun, but the Hobgoblin blasts it away with a blast. Peter notices there's a lot of similarities to this guy and the Goblin, almost as if it's tech this guy somehow had from Oscorp. But Peter doesn't even know how that's possible when the Hobgoblin says that he has met his end. There is nothing he will do to stop him from destroying Wilson Fisk. Spider-Man asks the Hobgoblin who he is, and the Hobgoblin just responds with, "Your worst nightmare," as he continues this onslaught. Captain Stacy tries to get to a van, but suddenly, out of nowhere, the van explodes, as if whatever the Hobgoblin was stealing was hijacked with some sort of chemical. Hobgoblin, Spider-Man, and Captain Stacy are all flung back as none other than the Green Goblin flies in. With a sort of evil but heroic entrance in the air, the Hobgoblin says that he is not done here. The Green Goblin flies away, but not after shielding Captain Stacy with the explosion. When Peter opens his eyes, the Goblin has vanished. The Hobgoblin says it's about time that the world knew who he was. If he's going to be the one to destroy Wilson Fisk, his empire, everything he stands for, he's going to do it properly. Before he had this mask, these skills, he was just a nobody, till he found the means, like Spider-Man, like the Green Goblin, to be inspired. Spider-Man will ask, who is he? The Hobgoblin removes his mask with a sinister chuckle, revealing himself to be none other than Donald Mencken. As the episode comes to a close. Thank you everyone for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Be sure to